Today's launch of the Telstar 14R Estrela do Sul 2 satellite on ILS Proton is a result of an accumulation of a lot of hard work and long hours, and everyone on the launch team is eagerly awaiting the liftoff. Teams are in their places in the launch bunker, control rooms, ground stations, and communication centers, and the final go for launch polling we mentioned earlier is being completed. We just passed a minute before liftoff, 60 seconds.
You know, Russ, it looks gorgeous there. I mean, it's clear. I don't see any clouds. I mean, this must be really good news for everyone who's been working so long and so hard to get this rocket up.
That's true. This is the home stretch. So many people working such a long duration. All comes down to this last minute now. I can tell you that blood pressures are rising and adrenaline is flowing, and everyone is at the edge of their seat as we come down to the 30-second mark, 30 seconds before liftoff.
And what are they thinking at this point? I mean, is everybody pretty much has their one or two things they're thinking about, or are we just sitting back and watching and letting the rocket do its work?
Everyone, I think, is envisioning mission success. The vehicle sitting on the pad, as usual, is deceptively peaceful looking there, but that's about to change. We're just 5 seconds away from launch. 4, 3, 2, 1, and ignition start. We have liftoff of an ILS Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan with the Telstar 14R satellite for Telesat on board. At about 10 seconds after liftoff, the rocket does a roll maneuver and will soon experience maximum dynamic pressure, or max Q. Max Q is the maximum aerodynamic load on the vehicle. It corresponds to about Mach 1.6 and occurs at 1 minute, 2 seconds after liftoff. A great sight as usual. We're now 38 seconds into the mission. Vehicle is heading downrange, pitching over. To clear skies, we are hopeful to get a good shot, good visual on the first and second stage separation. And we are just coming up upon max Q at this point. Passing through right now. Everything does seem to be proceeding nominally as the vehicle heads in an easterly direction with a flight azimuth of about 61.3 degrees. Minute and 25 seconds into the flight. All indications are nominal. And we're at a minute and 45 seconds, so we are coming up on the first stage's separation from the second stage that is set to occur at 2 minutes into the flight. Visually, it appears that we had the separation. We'll wait for the official confirmation coming from the telemetry lab in Baikonur. Should have that momentarily.
Is there any way to see it as we watch it, or you have to wait until you get the confirmation?
Well, we had a bit of a visual that the event occurred there, okay. But we always like to rely on the official telemetered confirmation of that event.
Right. I thought I saw something, but I wasn't sure. Almost out of view at this point.
I am connected to the telemetry lab in Baikonur, so I have a direct line to confirmations as they become available. Yeah, there's always these delays are a little typical, that it takes a few seconds to get a good confirmation. The telemetry has to be received and processed, and we're just standing by for the official word.
Well, and I want to let everybody know that, you know, as we're watching this and as the day goes on, you can stay up to date on this launch by going to ilslaunch.com. It's a recently revamped website, so you want to take a look and take a look there. We are also on Twitter, and you can also find us on Facebook. Just look for International Launch Service, the Facebook page. Click like. You can follow us there. And just because it's drifting out of sight right now doesn't mean the work is over. There's still a lot that has to be done from this point forward.
There definitely is. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the broadcast, but every indication we have is things are looking good now, just looking for official confirmation of our last staging event.
I'm going to give everybody a phone number while we're waiting, because if you're in the U.S. or in Canada, you can call the ILS launch hotline. The number is 1-800-852-4980, and that's going to give you mission updates. You can follow along as this mission proceeds. And again, like I said, we've got all the social media, Twitter and Facebook, which really gives you another look at all of this.
Okay, we are at 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the flight, and now we have official confirmation of stage 1 and 2 separation. So that's good news. And
what happens with stage 2?
The second stage engines actually ignite while still attached to the first stage, and the exhaust from those engines escapes through the open grid work between those stages. And as well as it looks like we have a signal of ignition on all 4 second stage engines, they will burn for a total of about 3 minutes and 27 seconds. The next key mission milestone will be stage 2-3 separation at L plus 5 minutes and 27 seconds. 19 seconds later, the payload fairing will jettison.
The Telstar 14R mission team for this ILS Proton launch is made up of representatives from ILS, its customer Telesat, Khrunichev, and Space Systems Loral. Here's a message from Michael Thie, ILS Program Director for today's launch of Telstar 14R.
Dober Dean from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. My name is Michael Thie, and I am Program Director for ILS. And we're here at Launch Pad 39 for the inaugural commercial launch of the Proton rocket for 2011. This time, T-14R, Estrella du Sol. And I just have to say that it doesn't get any better than this. It's springtime in Baikonur, it's L-4, final preparations are underway. The T-14R satellite has made it to the rocket. The rocket's vertical, it's all good. And I've had the pleasure of working my 4th campaign with our customer Telesat, led by Mr. Mike Minhas. And joining us out here as well is our veteran spacecraft manufacturer, Space Systems Loral, headed by Grant Gould. The boys have done an outstanding job preparing the spacecraft for this launch. And then there is the very experienced Khrunichev team, led by my good friend Dr. Vladimir Bronfman. Smooth, nominal, on schedule, all words that we like to hear during a launch campaign. And it's been a lot of fun as well. And I would like to thank everyone here for a job well done. And special thanks to Team Thie, Elizaveta, Piotr, Mike Connor, Kevin. Thanks for your hard work. You make me look good. So to everyone back home, Cindy Lynn, thanks for your support, all your messages, thoughts, and prayers. And I will see you all soon. And as we like to say, go Proton, go Breeze-M, go 14R. Большое спасибо, стакан пожалуйста.
Well, while you had the joy of listening to Michael Thie, we received 2 more official confirmations from Baikonur. The separation of the second stage from the third stage occurred, as well as payload fairing jettison, both on time and nominal.
And now let's hear a translated interview with Vladimir Bronfman, Khrunichev's program director, about today's Telstar 14R Estrella du Sol 2 commercial satellite mission.
My name is Vladimir Bronfman. I'm Khrunichev director for several space programs, Intelsat 14R included. We are now at the last stage of this launch campaign, which is performed under the contract executed between ILS and Khrunichev 2 years ago. During these 2 years, we have performed all the necessary analysis, all the design integration activities, all the necessary tests. We have manufactured all the hardware which were needed. And all that was made in line with the international standards as well as with the all national standards of all the countries involved. This is going to be the launch number 7 performed for our Canadian customer, Telsat Canada. We are very proud of the confidence this customer are having in our launch services. Apparently, we are not losing this confidence in time and with a common experience. But it is also a testimony of the well-known and well-established high reliability of Proton launch vehicle. It so happened that this one is the maiden launch for us in this year. And of course, this gives this launch additional importance for us. Being superstitious, as everyone in this technology, we are going only to hope that this is going to be a very successful start of this year.
Our satellite operator is Telesat. Representing Telesat on the launch team is Mike Minhas, Telesat Program Director.
The spacecraft behind us is Telesat's latest acquisition to date to serve the growing needs of communications in the Americas. It adds to our fleet of communications and direct broadcast satellites, including the Anix, the Telstars, and the Nimics. Telstar 14R will replace and enhance the existing communications capabilities and coverages over South and North America. It will have 58 transponders equivalent of 36 MHz Ku band spread over 5 different coverage areas of Brazil, North Atlantic and Mid-Atlantic Ocean region, continental United States including Gulf of Mexico and Northern Caribbean, the southern cone of South America, and the Andean region including Central America and Southern Caribbean. There is substantial switching capability on this satellite to adapt to market conditions as they change. The spacecraft, weighing 5 tons, generates a minimum of 11.5 kilowatt at end of life. With respect to the vehicle, this is our 7th trip with Proton, and we hope to continue with our successes as with previous launches. Finally, I would like to mention that the performance by crews of all the parties here have been excellent. I would like to thank Larry Rubin, Pat Van Minnen of SSL, and their team for an early completion of the spacecraft, Dr. Vladimir Bronfman of Khrushchev and Mike Thie of ILS and their respective teams who have worked so diligently throughout the design, manufacturing, testing, and launch phases to bring the project to this stage of success. I hope in another few days we will proceed further by transfer orbit maneuvers, in orbit, testing, and preparing the satellite for operational service. Thank you.
Okay, we are 11 minutes and 30 seconds into the flight, and I have 2 more confirmations to announce. The Stage 3 engine shut down and the 3rd stage separated from the Breeze-M upper stage. All those events occurring on time and nominal. We have an excellent flight going so far.
Sounds good. Thanks, Russ. Now let's learn a little bit more about the Breeze-M main engine.
We are coming up on Stage 3 separation from the Breeze-M. The spacecraft, together with the adapter, separation system, and Breeze-M, are called the orbital unit. At the moment of separation, the orbital unit will be traveling at about 7,500 meters per second, or more than 16,000 miles per hour. About 2 minutes after that, the Breeze-M will ignite for its first burn. That burn will last about 4.5 minutes. About 3 minutes after the end of that main engine cutoff, or MECO, the vehicle is scheduled to go out of range of our ground tracking station. We will lose communications for a little over an hour.